One, two, three, four.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to It's Okay to Be Okay. I'm Jen, and I'm here with Melissa and Crystal. And we're here. Today we're gonna talk about trusting yourself. And does anyone want to start?
Go ahead, Jen. Why don't you how about this? Let me ask you. What does that mean to you?
So, trusting in myself. It's so many times, talking about the gut feeling, that little intuition, that little voice that says, "Ooh, maybe you should go to the right instead of the left," or maybe you should wait to do that. And so oftentimes I feel that at least I know me personally, I would blow that off. I would ignore it and do what I was going to do anyway. And then I ended up paying the price for it. And and I think that a lot of coming to this understanding, it's learning that loud noise, that isn't your intuition, that isn't your wisdom. And we get caught up in the loud, and it's like right there, this is what we have to do. There's a process and there's things that need to be done, and you have to go A, B, C, D. And um when there's times when if we just get quiet and listen to ourselves, our path will come out. It will actually lay itself out for us, and opportunities will fall into place. But we have to be able to trust in ourselves of, oh, well, the universe put that there for me. Or trust in yourself of, yeah, I can help people. I can help people not because I have a degree, but because I've lived life, because I've been a prisoner of the noise in my head. And that noise only got me further in a rut, you know. It just made me spiral more the more I listened to the noise. But building the trust with myself, and it starts little. It starts so little. And as you start to build the trust in yourself on the little things, you start to see it clearer, and then you can start trusting yourself on the big things.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't think that sometimes I think when you're saying we start younger, right? Building the trust on the little things. I think as we get older, we don't even realize that we are trusting ourselves on little things. So then when it comes to bigger circumstances of where you really need to, feel that trust in yourself, it seems like we don't have it. Even though we do, it's like we don't because it's like over the years, it's that whole like programming kind of thing. The like you're saying, the noise gets so much louder in your head, telling you, yeah, no, you can't do that. You know, it drowns it out. And yeah, so I think when we're younger, trusting in ourselves is a little bit easier. And then as we progress through life, it just seems like it's this beyond reach when it's always there.
Well, like I know I lost trust in myself, before when I was, my best thinking landed me in prison. And so to learn to trust myself again, it was a process. And it was a process of learning which voices were mine and which were just thoughts that were given to me that I was told to believe that. or conclusions I had come to because of my life experience. You know, when I was dealing drugs, when I was running around and on the streets, and at that during that, I ran on pure intuition, you know, but I was in chaos all the time, and it was like a life or death situation every day. And in that, I learned to trust myself. I learned that I'm not going to that house today because I don't have a good feeling about it. You know, so it's like that intuition has always been with me, even when I wasn't in alignment with where I should be. And then the noise would come in, that, well, you're supposed to do this and you're supposed to do that. And I'd get caught up in that. You know, I got busted and I ended up going to a 1 year inpatient treatment center where I got to take my youngest, who was only 3 months at the time. And that place did so much for me, while at the same time, hindering me, because it taught me life skills, basic skills that I didn't have. I didn't know what a budget was. I thought that when you got low on money, you just made a phone call and sold some drugs, and then it was all better. And, you know, there was just a hustle. If you needed some money, it was fine. I didn't know how to budget. I didn't know how to cook. I didn't know how to do any of that because it wasn't needed in the life that I lived before. But they also taught me that the way I thought was wrong, that there's a way to do everything. And if you don't do it that way, you're wrong. And, you know, that never sit right with me. You know, that's also the place where they told me that, you know, my favorite things about myself, the things that I felt most connected to, that we are a part of something greater, that if I could just get past my thinking, I'd have all the knowledge I needed. Well, they're like, yeah, that's a symptom of your mental illness. We should medicate you because that's not right.
Yep.
And so I lost a lot of trust in that, because they told me, well, that's just your bipolar. That's your mental illness. That's what's wrong with you. And it wasn't until coming to the three principles that I realized that those were symptoms of my well-being. And the mental illness was just me getting caught up in the noise and believing the noise. And so it's hard to have trust in yourself when your head is loud.
I guess mine is similar as well. Like, it started off small, you know, whispers. And you feel it as well sometimes when everyone has this, when they have a gut feeling about something and they ignore it and then like, oh, I knew that was going to happen. You know, yeah, that's your wisdom talking. That's your intuition. And a lot of people ignore it all the time because it is so quiet. Especially when you have a loud voice going out all the time, and sometimes it's not just one. It feels like there's 100 different voices or 100 different thoughts going on at the same time, and so they wonder why they can't hear their own intuition, because it does, like intuition and wisdom. It doesn't need to be loud. You know, you be in a room with two people. The loudest one's normally the most insecure. The
Yes.
quiet one is the one sitting there with pure confidence. He doesn't need to speak. The same with our wisdom, that intellect, not intellect, that intuition. It doesn't need to shout at you.
Yeah.
And when you start listening to that, it's not that it gets louder. It still speaks the same, but it feels like it's getting louder because you're trusting it more. You know, the scene where I talk about a club with all those different people shouting, screaming, and dancing, and then that version of me, that powerful intuition version. It's not that she gets louder. It's just that the club gets quieter.
Yes.
And when we pull our attention from the noise, whatever we give our attention to is going to seem louder.
Yeah.
And the intuition, the wisdom, it's not loud, and it doesn't come with bright, shiny bells and whistles and like, here I am, let's do this. It's more like, hey, you go ahead and do what you're doing, and when that doesn't work, I'll still be right here.
Yeah. And I think that's what people, they think this wisdom is going to be this loud, like magical kind of, and sometimes it can be. Sometimes it can be that, you know, that massive insight. But sometimes it is just that quietness. And I think people think that's nothing because it's not loud. It's not like changing my viewpoint or anything like that. But the more you listen to that whisper, the more magic you will see in your reality. Yes. Because, like you say, it is leading you, it's guiding you all the time, and it will guide you to routes that you never even thought about. It will give you information that you never learned. Now, the amount of things when I'll be talking to random people and then something just pops in my mind. Like, so one of my clients, I had popped in about being a ballerina. Like, I sensed this ballerina, and she'll be listening to this. So I sensed this ballerina kind of energy about her. And she said when she was younger that she did actually do ballet. I was like, that just come out of nowhere. That wasn't me. I didn't know that. That was because I was in a quiet spot and wisdom come through. And I think I've told you about it before, but I'm also a silver method graduate. And I think I've mentioned this on here. I'm not sure if I've mentioned it to you guys or on here or not, but at the end of our silver mind method, you have to basically sit with another person, pair up, and you have information about, so you're only allowed to have the name, the address, and the age of that person who they know. And you've got to work out everything else. So you just kind of get in this state and you allow information to come to you. And the first one I spoke to, I saw like a black and white greeny photo of a man in the army. And I said to this guy that I was stationed with, I said, this is not the man on your form, but this is his dad. No, and then I said, I'm also seeing mountains. And after that, he said, yeah, his dad was in the army and they've just come back from a trip from the mountains. And then one of the other persons that I was teamed up with, again, I was saying, I'm seeing a little boy that's dead and grief. I'm feeling a lot of grief and that she wants to have, she really wants kids. And then when it was over, she said, yeah, she didn't write that on the form because it was still really raw, but you were bang on. We are connected. And when we get out of our fucking way, we get so much information come to us. And that's not just psychics and stuff like that. It's not woo-woo. We are literally connected. Every single human is connected.
Yeah.
So the knowledge that that we are missing out on because we're closed off or we're too busy in our heads. No, it's like some of the most amazing, what they called Einstein and stuff like that. Do you know how he got a lot of his ideas? He sat in a chair and meditated with two balls in his hands and just sat there until they dropped. He did nothing. He allowed that knowledge to come in. Trust that.
Yeah. I love it. Did I tell you guys the story of when I was a teenager and my brother and I were riding, he was driving, but I was passenger down a highway. I told you guys that.
I don't think you told me.
So this speaks on his, like, but just to show that we're guided by a higher intelligence and we're always, even if we don't know, the principles are always at play. Things are always connected. Long time ago. We were driving down this highway. He was driving, I was passenger, and we were like a mile from our exit, which the and this guy in front of us is a semi flatbed truck carrying a huge piece of heavy equipment chained to the back of it. And my brother puts on his blinker and starts to pass him. And I'm like, what are you doing? You know, we're going to miss our exit because it's only a mile. He's like, I don't know. I just feel like I need to get over. And I was like, okay, well, like, hurry up because our exit. And the second that he pulled back in front of him, which was, and we made it right after exit, but the second he pulled right in front of this guy, the chains that was holding that big piece of equipment snapped and
Mhm.
it flew off the back of the truck. And we pulled over like right there on the exit ramp in total disbelief. And I asked him repeatedly, how did you know? How did you know? What made you go around him? Why? How? And he's like, I don't know. Something just, I felt like I needed to.
Mhm.
And thankfully he listened to that feeling that day because I mean, we probably sat there for like at least 30 minutes in disbelief of what had just happened because if we had stayed behind that truck, there's no doubt the heavy equipment would went right through our windshield. And it was huge. But yeah, that's the whole guiding force and the connectedness. And you both touched on something that is so super, super important. And it's funny because he was driving. So a lot of times, and I'm not going to say for everybody, but a lot of times when we're driving, we are in a little bit of a different state of mind, a little bit of a trance state, hypnotic state, whatever you want to call it. And it is easier to hear stuff like that because we don't have a ton of thinking going on. And that's what you both touched on that I think is super, super important for people to understand is that it it's with that quietness that wisdom becomes louder. It's not actually becoming louder, but like you both said, once all the chaos and the noise and the ego and anything else, all the stories running in your head start to slow down and stop, wisdom seems like, yeah, that it's louder, but it's not. It's just a lot easier to hear when it's not trying to, when you don't have a million other things yelling over
Mm.
the top of it. So you both hit on a fantastic point. And yeah, that's my little story of thank
Yeah.
God for those
Mate.
nudges, for that connectedness, for him listening that day.
Mm. That's amazing. Like I love stories like that. And it's
Oh, it
another
was
thing as
crazy.
well, like we think that we're gonna hear a different voice, but it's not. It's the same. It's still our voice that we hear. It's not like you get like an angelic voice coming into your head. You know, it's still our voice that we hear. And I think that's why a lot of people sometimes don't think it's intuition or it doesn't think that there's wisdom because it's their voice. But it when you the more aware you are, the more aware you become of like just the noise of the thought and then the wisdom. Like it's very subtle, but you can feel there's a different energy to it.
Yes. There's a different energy, and it's ordinary. It's ordinary.
Yeah.
It's simple. Most of the time, when wisdom comes through, it's a very simple solution to a complicated problem. And so we write it off because, well, it can't be that simple. And it's all that simple. We are what makes things complicated. Us with our what ifs, with our should haves, with our why nots, with our could haves, would haves. Um, we make things loud. We put bright, shiny things in our mind, and it's like, then I'll be happy with this big, bright, shiny, I'm the best. And we're taught to chase that big, bright, shiny, best, newest, coolest, whatever, when all the answers are ordinary and
Yeah.
quiet and calm.
Yeah. And I think that's why I kind of resisted 3Ps at first as well, because obviously I had done a lot of spiritual things and I saw it as magical and like otherworldly and things like that. And when I come to the three principles and it was just so simple and ordinary, I was like, oh, but what about my magic? You
But the
know?
magic is in the ordinary.
Yeah. And now when you see ordinary things, I get that magic feeling. Because it doesn't matter if it's just watching the sunset or something so simple as a note on the fridge from my partner, or that is magic. No,
Yeah.
and then when you see the magic in the little things, the big things are like, wow. Now, like me and my friend go out for walks sometimes with the dogs, and we'll go to this field, and it's just a field, and it's got like the hay, and in the wind it like does this. And it's like a really beautiful backdrop, and I just sat there, like I didn't even sit, I was walking, and I started crying. I was like, why am I crying? I was like, just because it's so beautiful. Like I just felt the beauty, and I'd never like before the three principles. I mean, I'm an emotional person anyway, but I feel like the three principles, like sometimes my body can't contain the gratitude and the love that I feel, that it just comes out.
Yeah.
I know that feeling.
Yeah.
I get that. And because it's like when you slow down, when you quiet your mind a little bit, and when you start to believe in yourself, and in believing yourself, believe in the universe, and that connectedness of all of us, it makes all of the ordinary things seem magical. Like you said, it just changes all of it, the meaning to everything, because all of a sudden it's not just to look pretty when you're running through there, or to, all of a sudden it's like these flowers, they're life, they're breathing, they're alive. And when you quiet down, you can feel that. You can feel the aliveness of everything around you. Like my mom just got back from Montana. She spent 10 days in Montana visiting friends. While she was there, she didn't have cell service hardly ever. And she sat outside at the lake in the trees. And when she came home, was just so excited to tell me about the buzz of energy and feeling connected and feeling at one there. And that's what it is. And it's trusting in that, not questioning it. Because when we start to question it, it's like, then we ruin the magic of it, because we're trying to put the formless into a concept, and you can't do it.
Yeah, and we're trying to understand with our logical mind.
Yes.
Our logical mind is in the form. It cannot understand the formless.
And I think that a lot of us don't trust ourselves, don't trust that little voice, because can't understand it. Not what it's saying, but where it comes from. Where's this knowledge coming from? And uh, it's hard to put your faith in that if you don't think there's anything to put your faith into.
But when you do put your faith into it And when you do let go and trust, it shows you evidence all the time, like freakishly all the time. And it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And that's magical. Like, the butterfly that landed on my phone, you know?
Yeah.
All week I was trying to get a photo of a butterfly and it just kept buggering off. And I'm there talking to a friend about thought and everything like that, and literally it just lands on my fucking phone, like right in front of me. And it stays there until my friend gets her phone out of the bag, takes a photo, and as soon as she took the photo, it flew off.
That's awesome.
Ah,
And like I get a lot of those like confirmations, like I'll say something and then I'll get a sign. It's like, wow. Sometimes these signs are subtle, sometimes they're big in your face, like sometimes Dave is even like, whoa, you know?
yeah. The connectedness too. Like, I got two stories really quick. First one, and these both were this like recently, past few days. First one, it was just me sitting outside. Just I do it a lot in the afternoons. It's nice out on my back deck and shaded and stuff. And I was sitting there and just usually I'm looking at the trees or the clouds, whatever. And I happened to glance over at my dog, and she had her snout, and she's not a little dog, she's a decent sized dog, but she had her snout in the air, and it was deep in this beautiful purple flower. And it wasn't for like, it wasn't like that. She was there for quite a few seconds, and I just was in such awe of it because I was like, she's like stopping to smell the roses, so to speak. She's being present. She's taking in that beautiful flower right now and just enjoying it. It was the most spectacular and magical thing to see. I loved it. The other thing was, and you were just saying how, the signs that come to you, again, sitting on my deck, do it a lot. Um, I was out there and just, being present, but kind of like wanting confirmation, affirmation kind of things. And I was just sitting out there with my eyes closed. But then when I opened my eyes, I saw this thing coming right from my peripheral vision. I'm like, it was a hummingbird. It literally came right, like so close to my face. We were making eye contact. We made eye contact for like quite a few seconds. And then it flew off. And I thought it was the coolest thing, but immediately I like grab my phone on Google. I'm like, are hummingbirds a good sign?
I do that all the time.
Good news, they are. But yeah, it was because it was so cool. And like I literally made eye contact with this. I've always been fascinated by hummingbirds anyway, but this little majestic creature, and it was crazy. But when we stop to slow down and be present and just take in the butterfly, the hummingbird, just all those things, your mom and the buzzing and oh my gosh, yeah. Life is magical and beautiful. But we fight it. We fight it,
Yeah.
I think. We don't trust enough to let it be magical and beautiful. We fight it and say, nah, no, 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 no.
Oh, I'm too busy.
Mm,
Too
No.
busy. I have too much to do, or the world's not like that. People are horrible. And
yes.
here's the thing, people are horrible and people are wonderful all at the same time. It just depends on where they're stuck, what thoughts they're stuck in.
Mm.
And yeah,
It's the filter you're looking for as well.
yes,
When, I'm going to admit it now, like everyone's going to call me conspiracy theorist, but like when COVID hit, I did not agree with it. It was a load of shit. And so I went down that rabbit hole. I went deep down that rabbit hole. I mean, that's part of my waking up, actually. Like, that woke me up big time. But I went so far down that rabbit hole and I started seeing the real darkness of the humanity. and all I could see was darkness all the time, and I was just felt like I was in this really heavy world where there was bad people and stuff like that. And then I started coming out of it because it was actually getting me down. It was getting me depressed. I was like, I've got to stop this. Like, I know that the world's not always like that. And then I think that's also when I started getting back into Three Principles as well. And then obviously I come out of that, and then I started seeing a different world. And then because I was looking in a different direction, I was seeing a different world. You know, I was seeing love, and I was seeing fun and joy, and I always say this to other people. It's like, imagine you're in a park. Park, there's a lake, there's a mum and a pram, and there's a couple over there, and you're sitting down and you're putting on these glasses, these blue glasses, and these blue glasses show, love, and you want to look out at the same scenery. You're going to see the couple holding hands, the swans in the lake, the children laughing. Now swap those over for the red ones. You'll see anger. Now you're going to hear the argument in the car park over the bloody car parking space. Now you're going to hear the mum screaming at a kid. It's all happening. It just depends on what filter you're looking through. What pair of glasses are you looking for? That's the world you are going to see.
Yeah.
And whatever we tell ourselves, whether good or bad, positive or negative, whatever we feed ourselves, those are the filters, the glasses we're putting on to look at the world through until we become present. Only in the present moment do we take off those glasses and do we just see. Hey fuckers, quick pause real quick. We need some subscribes, likes, comments, and don't forget to share this with everybody that could use this. Thanks, back to the show. And it's there that we can get quiet and where wisdom will come through, where that intuition will, the best place to find it if you're looking for it is in the present moment.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know what you just said there, but something just clicked and reminded me. So there's been a death in my family recently. And my family's full of death, lots of death. And I was thinking about the other day, like whenever someone dies, I don't have much emotion. And I was questioning myself the other day, and I was using chat. And I was like, I feel like, because obviously I do see death as a whole different thing. I don't see it as this end. I see it as we're going home, And I was like, is this what I'm feeling? Is it just because I have that viewpoint of death, or am I numb because of so many deaths? I was starting to feel bad for not having any emotional, feelings. And then I started talking about, sociopaths, because I'm very, I love the mind, and I started understanding how a sociopath is a sociopath. It's not that they're broken, it's not that I'm broken, it's just that I'm not having a thought that's causing the emotion. I was like, oh, that's it. Like, I'm not having a thought that is creating that sadness. I can still care, because it's that concept of if I'm not having an emotional thing, then does that mean I'm a bad person? I don't care. I was like, no, it's literally just because I wasn't having a thought that created emotion. Because again, I said, okay, people die and I don't have much emotion, but when I watch a movie and there's death in it, or like a sadness or something like that, I'm fucking bawling my eyes out. I was like, why is that? And then it actually said about, well, it's because you're not in the emotion, whereas in a movie, you're in their story, you're feeling their emotions. So it's not that you're broken, it's just that you're feeling the thoughts because you're in that story with them. that's why you have an emotion reaction there, but not there. And I was just like, do you know what? It just felt like such a relief. I was like, oh, again, it is just, emotion is just a compass.
Yes.
And when I saw that, I was like, oh, like, it just opened up. It was just like an insight, and it was just really magical. And I just thought I'd like to share that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was good. A lot of people, I think, would question that. Go ahead, Jen.
Oh, I was just thinking that's something that we do a lot. I think all of us is question ourselves because we don't react the way we're told we should react to a situation. Then all of a sudden something's wrong with us. Then all of a sudden, and in that questioning and doubting ourselves, that's when we stop listening to that quiet voice and let the noise take over. I think for a lot of people, that's such a hard hurdle to get over, is the questioning yourself and doubting yourself. You know, that's why I say practice with the little things. When you're questioning or doubting, take a step back. Take a step back and get quiet for a minute. Listen for that small whisper. And sometimes it's not even a whisper. Sometimes it's like this feeling that comes into your body and just directs you. But trust it. Because what we've been taught our whole lives isn't necessarily true.
There's nothing that's true about what we've been taught.
No.
Literally. Nothing is
Because half the
true.
time, half the
And
time they're not even our thoughts.
Yeah.
and it's made it so heavy, so complicated, so
So opposite of what it should be.
Yeah, it's so simple, and you see it with children. They have it, and we drum it out of them. No, they have a tantrum that lasts 5 minutes, and then they're over it.
Yeah.
Like,
So if we teach them, it's not about teaching them not to have tantrums. It's teaching them where that tantrum has come from. If we teach our children this, we would have a whole different fucking
Society.
literally. If everyone right now taught their kid the 3 principles, we would have a fucking different world within a year.
Yep.
Less than that.
absolutely.
There'd be no anger. There'd be no violence. There'd be none of that.
Well, and the thing is, yes, it's still going to be there. Yes, you're still going to have angry thoughts. You're going to feel angry for a minute. But the difference is you're going to feel angry. Well, that was a shitty thing to do. Okay. Off I go instead of that was a shitty thing to do. Now I'm going to spend the next 15 years plotting on how I'm going to get you back and I'm going to make your life hell. And you're going to regret ever saying that or making me feel this way.
Yep. Again,
But
it's like,
nobody can make you feel anyway.
Yep.
it's like as soon as we get out of childhood, we're carrying all these hot coals with us. And we're burnt to fuck by the time we get to adulthood. And we're doing
No,
that.
we don't want to touch anything. Go ahead.
And the one thing that has our backs, that's always had our backs, we've learned to drown out with noise. We've learned to ignore it and to just like, psh, that's nothing, you know? And we need to start building that trust in ourselves again, because trust in ourselves is no different than trust in the universe or God or whatever word you want to use, because we're all the same energy. And the more we see that and trust in that and know that that has our back, the easier it is to fall out of the what ifs and the could haves and the should haves. And then our life lays itself out for us. And when we cannot get caught up in our own heads and allow that, it'll be better than we ever imagined. Yes, there'll still be hard days. Yes, shit is still going to happen, but it won't be the end of the world.
No, and it will be more fun as well. You know, the problems will actually turn into games, essentially. Like, even the ones that I struggle with now that are still really hard, I see it more as a game and an opportunity. You know, and it reminds me of the metaphor I said about the horse. You remember the black horse that I saw? Yeah, do you remember? So
I
I
do.
remember this beautiful black horse. I say you remember, I created it. Black horse, and there's this really beautiful path. There's the universe, it's leading you. You know, if you follow your gut instinct and your intuition, you will follow that path. That's why some people seem lucky. They're not, they're just aligned. You know, and things come to them because they're on the path. But quite often, most of us go that way. You know, we go down on that path in the forest, or that one. And then you go down in the forest, and sometimes there's electric fence, and you get zapped. And that's that zap is to try and turn you back on the path. And sometimes we go so far down into the forest and we keep getting zapped, but we're still ignoring that zap. And these zaps are the things that happen that try to steer you back on the path, whether that's good or bad things. Mostly bad things. Because if it was a feather trying to get to you, you would never move. You know, and I saw this metaphor and I was like, oh shit, like everything in my life that's ever happened to me was just a zap to try and get me back on my path because I was going the wrong way. And, you know, and I do believe that we as souls come here to learn something. We come here for an experience. And we've always got a guidance system with us, which is the universe, you know, God, whatever you want to call it, like you say. And if we let go of all that thinking, it will literally hold our hand and take us where we want to go. And greater. We can't even imagine the life that we can have because we're putting a limit on it.
Yep.
And it is just trusting ourselves. And if you can't say, I trust myself, I trust that energy that's, you know, I trust that connection. Because every single one of you is connected. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. You literally couldn't be here. You know, you had the electricity and toaster, you can't toast bread without it being plugged in. You can't be alive without being plugged in to that connection. And it will guide you if you let it.
You get quiet enough and listen. It will take you, yeah, everywhere.
Stop fighting it.
Yeah. And you just, it's effortless. It is effortless. You don't have to try. You don't have to be, you know, in the society, it's like that grind and hustle, and you have to like hustle to make it work. And you don't actually have to do that when you trust your intuition. It's like I was saying, like lucky people. Oh, she's just really lucky. Well, everything works out for her. Yeah, because she's aligned. She's listening to that intuition. She's being guided somewhere and she follows it. And then she finds the opportunities. You know?
We make our own fate, so to speak. But yeah, the more aligned we are, like, yeah, uh, it's not just coincidence, it's not just luck, it is. It's alignment, it's listening, it's being quiet, it's letting our personal navigation system, the true essence personal navigation system, not the bullshit one, take the lead, take our hands off, don't even try to steer the wheel, and have radical faith that it's going to take us exactly where we're supposed to be. exactly where we're meant to be. And we're not even gonna have to wonder which path is the right one, because there's only got to be one when we let go like that.
And we don't have to worry about the obstacles that come up, because a lot of times we'll look at something and think, well, that's not even possible. I couldn't do that. You know, when I was sitting in federal prison, did I ever, being right here where I'm at seemed impossible. And like I can never get here. And now it's like the more in alignment, the more I trust in that ordinary, that quiet, ordinary, just nothing, you know,
Yeah.
the more things line up, and suddenly I'm in positions where, holy crap, I could do so many different things. Like, and holy shit, I really can help people. And not because I studied, not because I learned all the modalities, not because I went to school and I have a PhD, but because I fucked up, because I listened to the noise, because I got stuck in the noise and I allowed it to drag me through the dirt to the point where I finally stood up and said no more.
You got a
And
final zap.
yes. And then it was like, okay, now what do I do? What do I need? Well, my thinking kind of gets me in trouble. Not the best at it. You know, great ideas. My great ideas weren't always great before. They usually ended up with someone hurt or in trouble. But those were the loud, great ideas.
Mm.
And the more I stopped feeding the doubt and the insecurity and the creating the stories about how I can never do anything worthwhile, the more wisdom, the more life, the more mind, universe, God, I don't care what you want to call it, has shown me, no, you went through everything because that's how you're going to help people.
Mhm.
Now just shut up and sit back and I'll show you how.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wanted to say as well on that point as well, like a lot of people will look back at their past decisions and then they'll feel regret or guilt about themselves. Like, I shouldn't have done that. But sometimes if you're looking at that path, there's a part in that path that requires you to have a skill that you needed to learn, which took you off that path, which you learned that skill on that path, on that other path, like down in the forest. And, you know, like what Crystal was saying about the navigation, it doesn't matter what way you go, you're always going to get directed back. It's just that you'll get directed back quicker if you let go. If you let go of the will.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you're
And
listening to this, that probably means you're wanting to let go.
Yeah. I think that's beautiful. I think that's a great ending point. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
God, how has it been like nearly an hour already? It only feels like 20 minutes.
I know. That's a great point to leave people with, Melissa.
Yes.
You're here, you're wanting to let go of that wheel. So just quit resisting.
Yeah.
Let
That's
go.
why you were guided to watch this video.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
And have faith. Have faith in yourself. And don't forget to subscribe and share. And we appreciate everybody who watches this. And thank you.
Yeah. And also, we are creating a membership. We are in the works of creating this amazing membership that you can join. You'll get access to us, like monthly videos, monthly calls that you can jump on, ask questions. So much in there. And so we want to say that is going to be launching soon. And yeah, I am super excited. Crystal is definitely super excited.
Yes.
Jen is excited. So yeah, we wanted to kind of get that warmed up for you. And yeah, we'll be launching that soon. And in one of our podcasts, we will probably spend 15, 20 minutes just going through that.
Yes.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, I guess join us there when you can, and otherwise we will see you next time.
See you next time, guys. Bye.
1, 2,